He used to wake up to the sound of his daughter's laughter. Now, it was silence that greeted him every morning. The kind of silence that makes you realize how much you've lost, and how much life doesn't wait for you to catch up. Here's a story about a man who lost everything, but somehow found the strength to start again. His name was Arman, 38 years old. Once a small business owner who believed hard work could fix anything. He ran a printing shop, a place filled with the hum of machines, the smell of fresh ink, and the quiet satisfaction of creating something real. His wife, Sarah, helped with accounts. Their daughter, Aiza, drew little hearts on the invoice slips. It wasn't much, but it was theirs. Then one day, it wasn't. It started with the fire. A spark from an old machine caught the paper stacks. Within minutes, everything was smoke, flames, and chaos. By the time firefighters arrived, all that remained was twisted metal and ashes. Insurance? Denied. Wrong paperwork. Backup funds? Already stretched thin from a loan. Hope? That burned too. He thought he could rebuild quickly. But the weeks became months, and reality sank in. Everything he had built for 15 years was gone. He started taking odd jobs, loading boxes in warehouses, fixing banners on streets, anything to keep the lights on. But life wasn't done testing him. His wife left. She said she couldn't live in ruins forever. And when she took their daughter to her mother's house, he didn't argue. He just stood at the gate, holding the small drawing his daughter had made for him, a picture of their shop with Baba's Place written in pink crayon. That night, Arman sat on the broken steps outside his burnt shop, staring at the ashes. He remembered the noise, the laughter, the routine. And then he remembered the silence that replaced it. He wanted to give up. He wanted to walk away from the version of himself that kept failing. But then came the morning that changed everything. He was walking past a school, tired from a delivery job, when he saw a group of kids staring at a broken printer. One of them said, "It's useless. Just throw it away." For some reason, those words hit him hard. He walked over and asked if he could take a look. 5 minutes later, he fixed it, using a piece of wire and some tape. The kids clapped like he'd performed magic. One of them even said, "Uncle, you should open a shop." He smiled, for the first time in months. That single moment sparked something inside him. Not hope, not yet, but memory of who he used to be. He went home, dug through the boxes of burnt junk he couldn't throw away, and found an old signboard. Arman Prints. The edges were blackened, but the name was still visible. He cleaned it, hung it in a corner of his rented room, and decided that if he couldn't afford a shop, he'd start one from there. He borrowed a second-hand printer, offered basic printing and design services online, slept 2 hours a night, delivered flyers by hand. Slowly, orders started to come in. Small business cards, CV printouts, birthday posters, nothing big. But every page felt like proof that he was still alive. A year later, his room turned into a workspace. 2 printers, a proper desk, and one day, a familiar voice at the door. It was Aiza, now 10. She was holding a drawing again. This time, it showed her dad smiling beside a printer with Baba's Place 2.0 written at the top. He couldn't stop the tears. She told him her teacher needed a printing job, and she told everyone her dad could do it. That's how his business started growing, through his daughter's faith. Months later, he saved enough to rent a small shop again, not as big as before, but brighter, warmer. He painted the same name above the door, Arman Prince. People who walked in saw the man behind the counter, quiet, humble, always smiling. But no one could tell how much he had fought to stand there again. Because sometimes, starting again isn't about success. It's about refusing to let loss define you. It's about finding pieces of yourself in the ruins and realizing they're enough to rebuild from. In the end, Arman didn't rise from the ashes. He learned how to build a life among them.